Last summer, I moved into a fixer-upper house in a small cul-de-sac. It was a town new to me, and a bit of a sketchy area compared to where I lived prior, but it was cheap, and it was exactly what I needed with my inconsistent outside sales job that was heavily commission-based. Now, this house may have looked like a shithole from afar, but I'm a bit of a handyman, so I knew what I was getting into. I restored and modernized the house fairly quickly, and next up on my to-do list was cutting the horrendously long overgrown grass in the backyard. On the morning I was off to pick up a lawnmower, I found a handwritten note on my car's windshield. "Do not cut the grass. Let it grow." I chuckled and surveyed the surrounding area. I figured it must have been a gag joke note for the guy new to the neighborhood. I hopped in my car and drove to the hardware store. When I returned home, I got to mowing. The grass was knee-high and a nauseating sight for me, a man who likes everything clean and orderly. It ended up taking almost 2 hours to complete the job, but boy did it look gorgeous out there. When I went to collect my mail, I found another note on a folded piece of paper. "I told you not to cut the grass." A cold shiver ran through me. How in the world did someone know that I had just cut my grass? I was determined. It was one of the neighbors messing with me. So I started going door to door. It was a perfect time anyways to introduce myself. At the house on the driveway side of mine, I knocked and was greeted by an older retired gentleman named Grady. He wore blue overalls and a red baseball cap with a deteriorating logo. Grady came across as the kind of guy who rarely left his house. When I questioned him about the note, he let out an awful wheeze of a laugh, denying any involvement with it. It was hard to tell if he was sincere when my focus rested on how many damn teeth was missing when he smiled, but I thanked him for his honesty and headed to the house on the other side of mine. Ivan, a tall, husky bald man, pushed open the screen door. His wife, Medley, lurked behind him a bit. They both seemed nice enough, and they assured me they had nothing to do with the note. They told me it was probably some teenager on his bike messing with me. Still though, I felt a bit uneasy. My stomach churned for a few hours, but eventually I moved on and forgot about it. But then, a few weeks later, another note surfaced. "Do not cut the grass again." Now, I was convinced there was a hidden camera or something in my backyard. I looked and looked around the yard for anything out of the ordinary, but I had no luck. I was fuming at this point, full of anger. "You're not telling me what to fucking do. I'm cutting it, and I'm always going to cut it," I shouted like a drunken idiot, talking to the air. I took great pleasure in cutting grass that day. Each blade was picture perfect. I was starving at this point, so I decided to go pick up some fast food. Of course, there was another fucking note on my windshield. "Stop cutting the grass." I crumpled up the piece of paper and tossed it aside. When I got home, I popped open a cold one and brought a folding chair out to the backyard. As I sat out there in the scorching sun, all I could think about were those damn notes. I was livid, upset, and ready to drown my frustrations in booze. After 6 beers, I turned up the boombox and started dancing like a fool. About a minute into it, I tripped and fell to my knees, colliding with a hard, rough surface below a section of the grass. I grabbed a shovel from the garage and started to dig. After removing some dirt, I came across a wooden crate. I was sweaty and nervous and almost too afraid to open it, but I had to get to the bottom of it and find out what the hell was happening to me. I covered my mouth in disgust when I saw it. A pile of bones, human remains with hints of dried blood. I ran inside the house and was about to call the cops, but then I saw my neighbors. Outside the living room window, I saw Grady, Ivan, and Melody walking in my front yard towards the front porch. Grady was holding a crowbar, and Melody was carrying a fucking axe. I just about pissed myself. The only smart thing I thought of was to distract them just enough for me to get in my car and bail. I grabbed my car keys and went back in the backyard as I heard the first few knocks coming from the front door. I picked up the boombox, which was still on. I carried it to the side of the house and held it against the fence, hoping they would make their way towards the noise. I then ran over to the other side of my house and slowly made my way to my car. The bait worked. They were exploring the noise, so I quietly got into my car and started the engine. As I backed up, Melody shot over out of nowhere and jumped on the windshield, slamming the axe into the glass repeatedly. "We told you not to cut the grass," she hissed. I sped up faster and then slammed on the brakes, sending her flying into the concrete. I didn't look back. I drove to another town and contacted the authorities. They told me to accompany them to the house to investigate. I refused and instead booked a night at a motel. There was no way I was going back there with those crazy folks around. Later that evening, I received a call from a cop. He told me that the houses on both sides of mine had been vacant for years, abandoned. Unfortunately, when the cops arrived, Grady, Ivan, and Melody were nowhere to be found. I felt sick to my stomach. I had no interest in finding out whose remains I stumbled upon. One thing was for sure though, I was not going to continue to live in that house. I had a cop posted outside for the afternoon. I moved all my stuff out. It was too risky going alone. I moved to another town, and for the most part, I have felt safe. I just hope I never run into Grady, Ivan, and Melody ever again. Thank you guys for listening. It's you guys that stayed to the end that helped me grow and inspire me to upload more, I guess. If you guys want more, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.